Get ready for non-stop cricket excitement as GBN brings you live coverage of this year's Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League. Please note there will be some adjustments to our regular programming lineup on Tuesday, September 3rd, Wednesday, September 4th, Thursday, September 5th, and Friday, September 6th. Transitions will be at 5:05 p.m. GBN Television News will air at 6 p.m., followed by a repeat right after the CPL match. And don't miss the rebroadcast of Transitions after the news repeat. GBN with you anywhere and everywhere with the best in sports coverage. Stay tuned and stay informed with GBN.
You know, one day I woke up and, you know, they painted a set of pedestrian crossing all along the streets. You know, nobody told us how to use that thing properly.
I know how.
You're serious?
Every safe, good driver knows about these things. As a driver, you have to be very attentive. You know you're coming up close to a pedestrian cross, you start slowing down immediately, looking to see if there's any pedestrian on the side getting ready to cross. If there is, you stop on the line that is a certain distance before the crosswalk. Then you would see the pedestrian put their hands out, looking directly at you, indicating that they are going to cross. And only when you have come to a complete stop, that is when they will quickly and safely cross to the other side. And then you continue happily on your journey.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact, wait for pedestrian to cross. Then you happily continue on your journey.
This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
Let me say a special good morning to those of you listening to Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9 on the FM dial. Those of you also in tune and viewing us via GBN TV. Whether you're viewing Channel 7, Channel 11, Channel 20, good morning. Let me say good morning also to those of you our social media platforms, whether you via the Facebook page, YouTube channels, good morning and welcome. Let me say good morning to, of course, to my guest representing the opposition this morning. That's, of course, Mr. Oliver Joseph. Mr. Joseph, good morning. It's been a while.
Yes, good morning to you.
We haven't had you on the program, and it's happy to have you this morning.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here. Good morning to all your viewers and listeners. I'm happy to be back. The thing is, the party has decided to give other members the opportunity to come and share.
All right.
And I welcome that.
All right.
Because I remember last year I was here with you almost once a month.
Yes, you did.
But I said,
to be here that.
yes, so I said no. Let us share it around. And so now they have asked me to come and deal with the supplementary estimate.
Okay, great. But how are you on a personal level?
Oh yes, no, I'm doing fine. Yeah, everything going well. I enjoyed my carnival. Yes. So much so that after that came down with the cool.
All right. Seemed like it was affecting everyone lately. All right, so our conversation that you mentioned this morning, we're going to spend a wee bit on the of course, the supplementary estimates that were, of course, in Parliament sometime last week. There's lots of discussions as it relates to it. From the opposition point of view, we know of the issue that took place. Of course, I'm not sure we're going to have a discussion on that level. We want to spend some more time this morning talking about the supplementary, of course, this morning. Now, let's get the conversation rolling off this morning. The supplementary appropriation. Your views on the supplementary appropriation, if we could get the conversation started that way.
Right. So let me define what is supplementary.
I would love to hear.
Yes, that. So a budget was presented for the fiscal year, which is same as the calendar year in the case of Grenada. That is from January to December. Mm-hmm. The government, early December came, they presented a budget and they said this is for the year.
Okay.
During the year, you will have a number of factors that will affect budget implementation. Mm-hmm. So you may have, for example, cost overrun on project. You have unforeseen circumstances, well, like burial.
Yes.
18, which you didn't get budget for.
Okay.
And so a supplementary budget is simple a request for additional funds by the government. That's all.
Basically. And it's practically nothing new.
No, not new at all.
Nothing new.
Not new. We did it in my 9.25 years in Parliament. We did it every year.
Yes.
Because I said, you see, you budget in for the future, but you don't know what will happen. Mm-hmm. And then if you get grants, you have to bring it in to then start to spend.
All right.
So grants come in during the year, which you did not have in the budget.
All right.
So a number of things happen, or all of a sudden rain come and a bridge destroy. Well, you have to spend.
And you haven't budgeted for that.
And you haven't budgeted for that. That's right. And you have not budgeted for that.
Okay.
So you come back with a supplementary. Really, the word supplementary is addition.
Okay.
If you say you take your vitamins, your supplements.
Yes.
So in addition to the vitamins you get from your food, you take
supplements.
Supplements
as a booster. You could sort in that way. You could say
it means the same thing. Mm-hmm. And I always tell students, it's important to listen to the words. If you pay attention to the words that are used, it becomes easy to understand the meaning.
Yes.
Of what I'm saying is no mystery. So, for example, what I find in mathematics is that the students are not familiar with the concepts. So take a simple thing like the coefficient of x. If you explain the coefficient, all it means is the number or the letter that go with x, like your co-partner or your co-pilot.
I was not a great student of math.
No, but the reason you're not, and for many people, because I don't think the concepts are explained to the students. They take it for granted. Well, you come through primary school and secondary school. You should have known that. No. For every time or any time students come to me for assistance, whether at university level or otherwise, the first thing I do is explain to them the concepts, the terms that are confused. Yes, the terminology. I'm telling you today, we are doing inequalities. Well, you cannot get one side equal to the other side because it's inequalities we're doing.
Yes.
So it must be greater than or less than.
Understandable.
So but that's a slight deviation.
I get your deviation. But of course, it brings some clarification.
Right. So the supplementary budget is just as additional funds you want. Right.
All right.
So, and something I want to explain right up front before we go into the supplemental is the insurance, because I've heard so many things about this insurance money that it got. Now, the insurance the government took out is a parametric insurance.
Yeah.
So I must explain what parametric means.
I have an idea what the parametric means, but maybe for the benefit of the listeners,
of course,
give us some of your thoughts on that.
If people understand what parametric insurance is, they would not be seeing some of the things I've been hearing. It's different from the typical insurance that compensates you for losses or damages. That is not how parametric. A parametric insurance describes a type of insurance contract that insures a policyholder against the occurrence of a specific event. They're not paying attention to the damages.
Damage. Once
Right.
something has occurred, you are entitled for to be compensated.
Right. So you will realize that within 14 days of the passage of Hurricane Beryl, the $118 million was paid out.
Yes.
But no assessment was done of the
Because
damage.
whatever occurred.
Yeah,
They're
you
paying
see,
for whatever occurred.
You see the occurrence or something. So if you take out a parametric insurance, for example, for flooding, and in the insurance contract it says if you get more than say 10 inches of rain, then because there's a lot of rain, that will trigger the insurance.
Okay.
You see, they said the parameters
All right.
for the insurance. So that parameters are clearly defined.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why they use the parametric. Like we have now the para-Olympic going on. So the insurance, the government is the policy holder.
Yeah.
The insurance is intended to cover infrastructural damages.
Okay.
Infrastructural damages. That is what the insurance is intended for. So, roads damage, bridge damage, poles fall, the infrastructure. Okay, and let me go specific now to Carriacou. You had the government buildings being destroyed, damaged, police station, health center, the schools, the hospital. The insurance will be used to cover these government
Yes.
and to do the roads
Yeah.
and bridge or whatever. That government infrastructure it will be used for that. So, well, some people argue that, well, you have the money, so why don't you build back the houses? I'm sure you heard that.
I've
See,
heard,
when you got 100
these statements been made, yes.
a lot. I hear that almost on a daily basis, you know. Now, how the argument needs to flow is, so because you got $118 million paid out to help you to take care of your infrastructure, it gives you room now from your local revenue to help these other people.
Okay.
Because remember, in Ivan, there was no insurance coverage because this insurance started in 2007.
Yes.
So the government, at the time, the NNP government, did not have any insurance from which they could claim. But because of the experience of Ivan, the government, NNP government, in 2007, joined this insurance. And also here in debate about there's no debate about that. The CEO was very clear that NNP was one of the first government to join this insurance. In fact, he used the word that the government is the poster child of the insurance. So, luckily, that insurance was in place, and therefore the government was able to draw down $118 million. Now, in the case, if you did not have this insurance, you immediately will have to seek to borrow.
Yes.
Right? Because you have to restore the damages that were done. So the insurance, just like any other insurance that you have, there will be a level that will trigger the response. So because of that, you may find that the government would not or may not have to borrow the huge amount of money that they would normally do if it was not for the insurance.
Yes.
So that's a good starting point. But I think this insurance, parametric insurance, I think it's important that the public understand that, as I said, it gives government room to spend additional money. And when we go through the supplementary budget, I will highlight the areas where the government has budgeted. And you will see almost every ministry got allocation.
All right.
So what is the total? The supplementary estimate. $269.8 million. $269,898,086. That is what is within the supplementary estimate. Budget estimate. But I would like to call it estimate because it's an estimate you're making.
Yeah.
You have to collect, for example, capital grant. That's where the money going to come from now. 5.3 million expected. Local funds for capital expenditure, 233.2 million, and recurrent expenditure, 31 million. That's how you're going to. That's what is in the supplementary estimate.
Yes.
So, if you look at the allocation, what I attempted to do, and you have this spreadsheet there. Everywhere you see, because you have to get a reason for the allocation in particular ministry.
Yes.
I went through and said, where it states clearly, hurricane burial response.
Yeah.
I added that up. If you didn't say that, I did not add it. No, it's important for me to explain how I come up with the analysis I'm doing. I'm saying that you may see under a ministry money allocated for a particular purpose. But if it did not say hurricane burial response, well, I left it out.
Okay, understand that. I certainly understand that.
I did strictly with where it says that. So, for example, if you look at hurricane burial response, it says that clearly. 3.8 million, that is under the Prime Minister's ministry. If you go there, you will see.
I am searching for that as we speak.
While you're searching for it, let me give you the figures there. It says hurricane, I think it's vote 18 or something like that, high up.
Yeah.
It says hurricane burial response 3.8 million to purchase vehicles and other transport and supplies related. So as a result of burial, it's saying that the government is saying that they need to spend 3.8 million to purchase vehicle and other transport and related supplies.
Your take on that?
You see, well, that is where we have to look at the real nitty-gritty of the supplementary budget.
Yeah.
That's the most efficient way to allocate your resource? Because you see, when you're dealing with resource allocation, you are looking at the most efficient way to allocate the resources.
Yes.
In my view, and I do not think that this is the most efficient way to use 3.8 million to purchase vehicle. When you have Carriacou, Pitimatnik, and the north of the island, where people houses are completely destroyed and need support, you probably need additional vehicle in Carriacou, but 3.8 million, I think that in the allocation of scarce
But you did mention, if I could tap in on you, did mention it that is of course the monies received and so within the budget has been used to of course repair government's infrastructure.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that the vehicles needed are for the use of helping to rebuild government infrastructure?
Yeah, it probably that's the function, but I'm saying, so you could have used 1.8 million and put 2 million somewhere else, because when you're allocating resources, you have to look, especially we are dealing with a hurricane.
Yes.
And how you respond to the hurricane. And when I come on later and we go through the other areas, we'll see whether or not that was the most efficient way. But of course, the government is the one that is responsible for the rebuilding effort. and they must make that judgment call. I mean, we could.
Yeah, I mean, Hurricane Beryl is playing a crucial factor in this supplementary allocation estimates that you would like to call it. All right. Hurricane Beryl is playing a crucial role in that, especially for our sister isles of Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and the northern part of the island. That's one of the main reasons for this supplementary budget coming. It's not the only reason, but it's one of the crucial reasons that Hurricane Beryl and the disaster that has occurred from it.
Well, as you said, let me tell you, if there was no Beryl, there would be a supplementary estimate.
Yes, there would have been. But it has also played a significant role
of course.
Terms of it.
No. I'm saying the focus of this supplementary estimate should be burial response. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, there are other ministries as you look there. For example, you for Ministry of Tourism where you're going to, it says burial response, but you have 2 million to replace damaged computer and equipment. These 2 million could have been placed in the budget.
But is it that for Carriacou and Petit Martinique affairs?
No, he didn't say that. No,
he didn't say that specifically.
No, he says damage to equipment, right?
But is it because it was not highlighted specifically? That's the reason for the concern?
No. The reason for the concern is that, first of all, a new budget will come up in December.
Yes.
You say that this allocation of 2 million to replace damaged computers, that you have to do it within the next 3 months? Or could you put some now and then for the budget? So, and that is when I go on later, I will show where this supplementary estimate for 3 months, September, October, November, because at the end of November you're preparing for the new budget, and all ministries are asked to submit the new proposal. The Ministry of Finance cut off and expenditure. So the question is, could you implement this budget in 3 months?
It's also one of the questions that I want to ask, Stephen, the implementation of this particular supplementary budget. How crucial is it? Is it possible that all that is stated within that supplementary estimates, would they be able to implement them all before year ends?
No. Simply say no, because we have an implementation problem. And that is not a new problem.
Yeah.
Because you have resource constraints. So, for example, the Ministry of Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation was allocated $24.5 million. And we'll spend some time on that. Right? And this says $1.5 million to cover the cost of cleanup activities in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Right? They're going to use $1.5 million to cover the cost of the cleanup thing. $8 million for rehabilitation and construction of small roads. 20. I think they intend to do 20 roads.
20 roads.
Then we look at just the 20 roads, if that's possible. Yeah. So, $8 million that was given to MIT, not the Ministry of Infrastructure. It's under the Ministry of Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation.
Yes.
I am not aware that this ministry have the relevant, competent, technical persons there to undertake these things. First of all, the Ministry of Infrastructure is short on engineers.
Yes.
Now, then the roads, you will have to go out to tendering according to the Procurement Act. So there will be a period of time because you have to go out for bids, ask people to tender, the tender board must meet and award the tender.
Yes.
The contractor will have to do resource mobilization in order to carry out the project.
Understandable, so.
But we're in September, right? But you're saying that you have 8 million and you want to do 20 small roads with it within this time. I'm saying that some of these roads could be placed in the next budget coming up to be implemented.
Yes.
So, but the government, in its wisdom, decide they're going to allocate 8 million and to do the roads. Well, personally, I like to see roads done.
But
we can drive soon.
But is it fair to say that it was also for previous road that should have been taking place in the initial budget?
Yes, that too could account.
Yes.
That, well, you missed some roads when you were preparing the budget.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, burial caused damage to other roads. Yes.
Right.
So that's fair to say. But the fact that you're aiming, the point I'm making is that you're aiming to build 20 roads, 20 from now to end of November. That is the point I'm making. And
so you say the implementation that they speak of, it may not come to fruition. Rather.
I will be surprised, and I hope I'm proven wrong, that if we achieve an implementation rate of 60%, we would have done well.
Okay.
If we achieve an implementation rate of 60%, we would have done well.
But
so
some folks would say Mr. Joe, that implementation rate goes across the board from all governments, in past governments and this government.
Yeah, but that cannot be advanced as any reason for not doing certain things better. You see, I don't like this argument that says, well, in Ivan, you didn't do that and you're supposed to do it. No. That's a different period. You should learn from previous experience. You should study implementation rate from over the years. Because, you see, you have to make policy based on evidence, Yes. I believe in evidence-based policy making. So if you studied, you probably would not have 8 million for 20 small roads. You don't just come up with things just like that and then say, well, Mr. Joseph, you're not in position to criticize me because in NNP time you didn't do it. No. You're not going forward with an argument like that. You must have the relevant evidence in policy making. That is what policy making is driven by, and you must do evidence-based policy making. So that's the road. We're sticking to MIT for a little while.
Yes, I'm listening.
Because that's the one that I'm fascinated about. It says 15 million. We're still on MIT. To facilitate the completion of 26 houses. So that's completion, right?
Yes.
And the completion of 15 new houses in St. Patrick. I don't know why you completing 26, well, that means they started already, you completed.
Yes.
I want to make sure I'm using the correct phrase. If you pull up MIT, because I thought it was the building of 15 new houses in St. Patrick.
I'm getting to MIT Ministry of Mobilized Implementation.
Yeah, yes, you have it?
Yes.
Right. So you could just read the 15 million, the allocation.
We're talking a reconstruction and approximate 200 homes, is saying?
Well, that's the next one.
Yes.
Right. But yes, in the next line, the line before it.
All right. That you're saying 15, they said 15 million, yes, and that's due to the patch of Hurricane Beryl, most of the housing. Okay, let's go.
Go up again. You're under the right vote, you're under.
All right.
The one that says 8 million.
Yes, I'm reading that one.
Right.
And that's the rehabilitation construction of small roads, because we have passed that one already.
Go ahead, yes.
We say we say the completion of houses that already been started. Some of the contractors have already been signed for the completion of homes in the parish of St. Patrick. All right. And that's where it stopped there.
Go on.
And we come back to the, of course, well, that's what I'm seeing under this
to facilitate the completion of 26 houses. You see that? Right. Read that one.
I am not seeing that one under this.
Yeah, it's under MIT, just under what you read.
All right. This is going to take in the cabinet responsibility for rehabilitation of homes. I'm not seeing the 26 one as you mentioned, but all
right. So let's go on then. Because what it says to facilitate the completion of 26 houses.
And that is under the 8 million. The 8 million.
Yes, under that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing it. Yes, I'm
Right,
seeing it.
right.
So that's rehabilitation and construction of small roads within the 6 parishes throughout Grenada.
Right.
This represents the approximate of 20 small roads, and that's to facilitate the completion of 26 houses and
Right,
the
this
completion
one.
of 50 new homes in St.
Oh, so
Patrick.
you see, the word completion is there twice.
Yeah.
So the completion of 26 houses and the completion of 15.
Yes.
Well, what the point there? Because
Well, if it's a completion, which means it's already started, and the money is needed for actually completing. Is that
what I'm saying is, yes. So what I'm saying is, so why don't you say completion of 41 houses? But you are 26 separate.
Yes.
But you said the completion of 26 that already started.
Well, if they give the benefit
And
of the
then the
doubt, is
15
it the 26 houses of a previous that were previously
Yeah,
started?
you say started.
Let's say,
previously
let's
started.
just for reference, let's say the house that was destroyed in the fire, maybe, and the house that was now destroyed during the passage of Hurricane Beryl.
Right.
That's how they're adding it up together?
Well, they said 26 and then 15.
And then 15.
Right? But anyway, so they have this now. Again, you're talking about the period. We're still looking at the 3 months period.
Yeah. I know you want to get into this, but we drew for a break. Let's take a short break, and when we come back, we continue the discussion. We got to take that break and come back. So stay with us, folks. Of course, myself and Ms. Oliver Joseph here on To The Point this morning, and we're talking about the supplementary estimates, and we'll be right back after break with much more for you. Stay with us. I'll be back shortly.
Get ready for non-stop cricket excitement as GBN brings you live coverage of this year's Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League. Please note there will be some adjustments to our regular programming lineup on Tuesday, September 3rd, Wednesday, September 4th, Thursday, September 5th, and Friday, September 6th. Transitions will be at 5:05 p.m. GBN television news will air at 6 p.m., followed by a repeat right after the CPL match. And don't miss the rebroadcast of transitions after the news repeat. GBN with you anywhere and everywhere with the best in sports coverage. Stay tuned and stay informed with GBN.
I want you to control your anger. There's a way to feel better. That's one thing to remember. No matter where you are, you can be a star. Stop and take a deep breath. And relax yourself. Take another deep breath. And relax it. And relax it. Eliminate violence. Solve your conflict in a different way. Choose peace and love instead of all bloodshed. Leave and land device. You see the violence thing.
Make the change.
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 Make a change.
Make the change.
Make the change.
End the gun violence now.
Just please give life a chance. Let's stop the violence. Oh.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, who are with us this morning here on the program. It's To The Point. Myself, I'm Ms. Oliver Joseph, representing the Opposition New National Party this morning. It's Opposition Tuesday here on the program. We're talking this morning the supplementary estimates for the 2024. So, of course, this morning here, of course, and he's explaining some of the parameters within that we need to bring some bit of a clarification, or maybe, as you would say, of course, the concerns that the opposition is having with the estimates. Right. We started off, or should I say we concluded when we were talking, of course, before the break. You were talking in terms of giving that the reason for, the $8 million that is given to the MIT ministry for the rehabilitation and of course the reconstruction. Now, give me an understanding of this particular one. That's $15 million for the reconstruction of approximately 200 homes on the mainland Grenada in the parish of St. Mark and St. Patrick's at $50,000 per home. Your take on that particular $15 million, of course, being appropriated for that. Tell us something.
Right. So the concern of the opposition is that you came into office, you made 647 housing units built by the People's Republic of China for low and middle income people. Yeah. That's there. We did not distribute it before the election. You said in your campaign that it is a criminal act for people to be living in dilapidated housing condition and have 647 housing units lying there. And as soon as you come, you'll distribute it. Instead of distributing it, you put it on the market and said it's for sale. 50 million, one bedroom, 75 million. So you automatically exclude the low-income people because they cannot go to the financial institution and get the money to purchase it. So, but you have these houses there. Hurricane Beryl didn't come along. In the case of Carriacou, you have not allowed the people of Carriacou to use the 100 unit in Carriacou as shelter. Instead, you have them in schools. But schools need to be reopened. Yesterday's schools in Grenada reopened.
Yes.
Cannot open in Carriacou because people are there in the shelter.
And people are using the schools as shelter.
Well, yes, because the house, remember, the house is completely destroyed.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong in using the school as a shelter. But you're in a situation where you have 100 housing units unoccupied. Why can't you let the people use it temporarily? You're not assigning it to them or selling it to them. That's a temporary measure while they rebuild their houses. And now you're going on to see we spent $15 million to reconstruct 200 houses in St. Mark and St. Patrick, the both areas that have housing units built by the People's Republic of China and just sitting there. The same St. Mark got,
yes.
And St. Patrick, but they are there empty. Well, that's the report I have, that they are not seeing people occupying them. In St. David's alone, the current housing scheme has 226 housing units there. I'm not aware of how many of these are occupied.
All right.
Right? But you have these houses. But you're going to spend $15 million for 200 houses at $50,000 will give you $10 million. But even if that $50,000 cannot be for building a house, because you're building back better. Remember, you're building back better,
Well, so it is saying for reconstruction.
Right.
It is actually saying for reconstruction.
Reconstruction. So, in building back better, you will have to invest more, first of all, in the type of roof that you put there to withstand up to a Category 5 hurricane.
But if we to understand that maybe the 50,000 is for houses that may have just lost their roof, sir.
Maybe, I don't know. It says, you see, I don't want to assume too many things here. I could only go by the explanation. And that is why it's important when you're reading the figures, don't read it by itself and say, well, MIT received $24.5 million. No, look at what it is allocated. I come back to my point about allocation of scarce resources to get the optimum results, the output. So you have housing units lying there empty and you're spending 15 million. Well, I'm happy for the people who will get the house assistance. And we, of the New National Party, know that housing is a major problem. And so we are not saying that you should not spend the money to respond, to assist people. The point we are making is we have empty housing units. And you are going to spend 15 million, which would not happen before that 200 houses. Where are you going to get the manpower to do this in 3 months? And whether it's reconstruct or build, or the word uses reconstruction. And St. Patrick and St. Mark are they the critical areas for the 200? I said again, the analysis had to be done. The evidence must come forward before you take these sort of decisions.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be better to focus? And when we come to Carriacou allocation, that's a separate debate, because we will see what is happening in Grenada as opposed to Carriacou that has been completely devastated.
Yeah.
So the allocation, and it is up to the government to decide how they're going to allocate the resources. So all we can do is just comment and if we could put forward ideas, recommendation that may or may not be accepted, but that is entirely up to the government to do that. But we must express our concern with respect to the supplemental.
All right. So you spoke of the concerns that relates to the Ministry of MIT. What are the Ministry of concern in terms of the estimates that you would like to speak of?
Well, we had the Prime Minister's Ministry, as I mentioned earlier, about the vehicle, the high cost. Then you have Ministry of Finance. If you look there, $25 million, it says, support for business reactivation to be placed at the GDB, Grenada Development Bank. So,
reasons for your concern in relates to that?
Right. Well, of course, I'll come from the concern. Assuming you took the money for the 118 million, you're taking out the 25 million and put it in GDB to help reactivate business so people can go there and get loans. So if your business was destroyed and then you're not given grant money, but you must go and negotiate a loan to reactivate your business. First of all, we, and talking about from the New National Party perspective now, very concerned about the way loans are given at the Grenada Development Bank. That's a real concern we have.
Yeah.
Whether or not these small businesses, micro, small, and medium enterprises, will benefit, and to what extent they will benefit from these $25 million that you put at the Grenada Development Bank to manage this loan facility. We are concerned that the small and medium-sized enterprises, it will be difficult for them to access, and it will be a burden on them to service this loan, because if you know about business, if you do not have the cash flow, if you get the money, the loan, build back the business, stock it, I don't have the cash flow running. would you be given a period, say, maybe of a year? Grace
period in order to restart, for repayment to start.
Yes, and a lot of small business, and I'm talking from experience, a lot of these support, if you do not give businesses a grace period, a lot of them fail. Because you see, you just give them startup costs, the startup expenses, and because they do not have this cash flow, unless you give them a particular time period in which they could really have the business, operating.
I'm trying to understand this also, and this is primarily as a hurricane barrel relief response.
Yes, that's right.
So businesses were saying in the sister isle of Carriacou, on the mainland Grenada, let's be more specific, in the northern part of the island, who were affected by Hurricane Beryl. You have a particular business, and for some reason there was damages that had occurred. Now you can use that particular facility at the GDB to obtain loans.
Yeah.
To, of course, get your business restarted.
Yes.
That's one of the main reasons behind that particular facility.
Yeah, as stated in the document. Yeah.
All right.
That is the reason as stated
in
the document. So, because it says for reactivation, it doesn't say that startup.
Yeah.
In other words, if you live in the parish of St. George, which did not get much.
I don't think you may not be qualified to a point.
Well, you mean
but there was destruction within the parish of St. George, and the destruction here. So I'm assuming the facility will be more for the parish of St. Patrick and the sister isle of Carriacou.
No, if it's burial response, once you could prove that burial damaged it shouldn't be where you're located. You know what I'm saying is, all right. So St. David got some slight damages too.
Yeah.
So if a business damaged, you can't say, well, you do not reside in St. Mark or St. Patrick.
All right.
So you cannot get, it says, if you are damaged by burial. So that is the main.
Okay, understand.
That is what you need to focus on. But we are concerned that this 25 million going to GDB to administer. And our fear is that the people who are supposed to benefit will not benefit as intended. So we have another response, 2 million livelihood and recovery support. Well, that's good. You need to assist people to come back. You see, we keep saying that I'm actually living in Carriacou for last, so I don't want you to ask me about Carriacou yet.
All right.
So let's go in Grenada, because besides in the north, where really St. Patrick and St. Mark, part of St. Andrews too, the farming.
The farming.
Oh yeah, the farming community. Farmers lost a lot of their crops. The long-term crop, the short-term crop, Ministry of Agriculture.
But we haven't even talked about the allocations for farmers yet, and of course, in terms of the relief for them.
Well, you see,
the allocations that are provided.
Except you want to stay here until 12, and I don't mind, I could stay and go through it. If we go through if we go through every vote. So what I was trying to do is look at the burial response.
Yes. I understand where you're coming from. So we wasn't going to touch that too.
We could go through all the vote. No, I could come back next week. I'll ask the party for permission to come back, and we go through
have further discussions on it.
Yes. What I'm highlighting really are the areas that is called burial response and our response as a party.
Yes.
We say, well, listen. You seems to be putting everything now as burial. The allocation that you have, this $269 million that you're putting there, because you use the opportunity to put the other things that you would have come with that you missed then in the original budget. Let's put it that way. So you want this additional sum. And that's why I'm examining where in the document it says burial response. I know I might be repeating that because I said that already, but it's important that we know, we understand it because there were not really a full debate in the parliament on these matters, because I think if you had a full debate, the government would have benefited from the opposition that walked through Ivan. You see, that's the next thing we are calling for, is that you need to have a broad-based committee of opposition, private sector, trade union, that especially with people that experience Ivan.
But was the opposition interested in participating in, of course, in that broad-based
But of course the opposition said that, but they did not get an invitation to come to send a representative on any broad-based committee. If the opposition got a response, because we see that as a national issue, the opposition will be the first organization to submit a name. Given the experience, I was in the public service during Ivan 20 years ago, not in politics or anything. But the government did an excellent job in restoring and building back better. And as we talk about implementation, I don't know if you recall, you were here in Ivan?
Yes.
Oh. Well, I thought you'd be a little boy at that time. So the government set up what is called Agency for Rural Development, ARD.
ARD, I remember that.
But you know why they set it up? The government recognized, listen, if we're going to wait on the public service, Ministry of Works and the other ministry, to drive this process of recovery, it will take us a long time.
But folks will always say the ARD was not as efficient as it should have been.
That's easy to say without evidence. Again, you don't I would not make statement unless I could justify it. Mm-hmm. The agency had highly technical people.
Yes.
There. They hired people and could pay them under contract much better than the engineers that are based in the Ministry of Works. And so they got project managers there, economists, engineers, civil engineers. And the funding came from external agency to fund this agency for rural development to drive the reconstruction process. And that is why my concern with the implementation rate.
Okay.
And I said I would be happy if you could reach 60%. So
we still scrap for time. We only have a couple of minutes. I know we haven't gone to Karakou. I have one question. What sort of picture you were painting for the supplementary for the economy as it stands right now?
It depends on how much you get done. It could have a positive effect. So if you're going to spend 268 million, it will be good in the economy, because the economy is output, everything. So listen, we would be happy to see all this money, the things that are here implemented, because people will benefit it.
Yes.
And you'll generate higher output, and that is how you measure GDP. So for us, we're not saying, first of all, I have never said on this program since I'm here that we did not need a supplementary estimate. I said we needed one.
Yes.
I also said that we're distinguishing between what is burial response and the non-burial response. And we're critically analyzing the allocation to get the most efficient results. Yeah. So let's be very clear. The NMP did never oppose the supplementary estimate. They were prepared to debate it, give ideas, and think about other areas in which you could strengthen it. So, Karakou, because we only have 5 minutes.
Yeah, we've been strapped for time. Well, I'm not sure if we want to go in depth into
Karakou. No, I won't go in depth
into Karakou. No, as you promised to be back next week, if we can. We probably spend some more time speaking on the supplement for Karakou.
For Karakou itself,
that's where the magnitude of course, will be going to in terms of most of the supplements will be.
And that is not correct.
Most of it is not going to Carriacou.
Look, check Carriacou and Pitimatic. Look, go to Carriacou and Pitimatic.
Okay, I'm looking at Carriacou.
Go to Carriacou.
I'm looking at Carriacou and Pitimatic.
Go to Carriacou and Pitimatic.
No, you highlight some of the concerns for Carriacou as I scroll down a wee bit. As I said, I don't want to get too in depth.
No, we're not getting in depth. We only have 5 minutes.
We will strap for time.
Okay, so let me briefly.
Yes.
You are Carriacou, right? Yeah. You're passing Carriacou.
Yes, I think I am Carriacou.
Yeah,
so tell me.
15 million for rebuilding the economy of Carriacou and Pitimatic.
Mm-hmm.
It says rebuilding the economy. What does that mean? The economy is made up of different sectors, right? But you make a broad statement. So you have to look at the agricultural sector, the farming community, business, the economy as a whole, and for rebuilding the economy in Carriacou and Pitimatic, you have an allocation of 15 million. That's what you have.
Well, I'm still searching for Carriacou.
Whereas you have.
Yes, I got it to Carriacou.
How much you see there? Go Carriacou and you see what is allocated there briefly.
I am still,
because I have it on my phone. It's kind of small.
Yeah, I'm still searching for the.
All right, so let me explain. So 50.
I still haven't gotten the Carriacou for some reason. I saw something, but it's totally different to what I'm seeing.
15 million, and the purpose. Okay, you have to look at for rebuilding the economy of Carriacou and Pitimatic. That is the allocation.
Yeah.
In the supplement.
So you say only 15 million is allocated for Carriacou and Pitimatic?
Well, for the rebuilding. Because they will come up like where you have 1.5 million for cleaning up, that will go, part of it will go, the transportation that you talk about. But we're talking about rebuilding the economy, and 15 million is allocated, whereas the MIT ministry have an allocation of 24.5 million to spend. 24.5 million ministry to cover the costs of reconstruction of the houses that we spoke about.
Yes.
Before, and the building of the small roads construction. The MIT seems to be the super ministry. Of course, the government could decide which ministry to allocate its funds to. That's entirely up to. But if the MIT is going to have responsibility for construction of houses and small roads, then you have to have the technical personnel.
Yeah.
I'm not aware. They probably have it, but I'm not aware. And I'm not into criticizing things that I'm not aware of. I'm not aware that the MIT had that kind of technical expertise. They will say, okay, well, you don't need to have engineers and so on because we're contracting it out. But even when you're contracting out, you must have technical people to guide you. No, I wouldn't say that if the allocation was under the Ministry of Infrastructure, I wouldn't make that criticism, because the Ministry of Infrastructure, Work, Public Utilities, they have expertise.
And then it'd be all inclusive of Carriacou and Pitimatic and of course the other parishes.
So because I'm saying that because of where it is allocated, not that there should not be allocation for it,
yes,
but where the allocation is placed, and come back to the same point again of implementing it. In my view, well, in our view, the New National Party would have put it under infrastructure.
Yes.
Right? The Ministry of Works, Infrastructure, they have qualified engineers there, highly qualified engineers too. They probably have a shortage. But the shortage of engineers is something that has plagued Grenada for a long time,
Yeah.
And that is because we have engineers. You say, well, all these engineers you send to Cuba and train, and now you send them in China. The ministry cannot keep them. After they serve the bond, they go into the private sector.
Yeah.
That is because of the low wages that you pay them. So you'll have to look at a separate arrangement to keep technical people.
Okay.
In this ministry, because after all these years, and we're still asking Cuba, we did it too. We used to ask Cuba for engineers and doctors and nurses. almost every 2 years.
All right.
And because of the problem we have. But anyway, that outside of the supplement, the relevance of the point is that the MIT do not have the technical people to do it. And I was surprised, and our party was surprised to see the allocation of 24.5 million to the ministry, to MIT.
All right. Of course, so Joseph, well, we'll come to the time where we have to close up the program for this morning. You promise to be back next week and we go more in depth because, of course, Carriacou and Petit Martinique is, of course, where a lot of concern is, of course, in terms of the application and so forth, and we promise to go more in depth. For some reason, I'm not seeing it on my information this morning. I'm not sure the reasons why.
No, it's there.
But when you return next week, as promised, we'll go more in depth in terms of the conversations.
Sure.
All right?
No problem.
Of course, we're sorry that we could not accommodate the calls and stuff this morning.
Next week,
We'll, of
we'll
course,
give them
revert
more
to that
time
next week. We spend probably half an hour calls where folks could, of course, get their say into this also.
Use the next half an hour.
Once again, I want to thank you, Mr. Joseph, of course, and nice to have you back on the program, and we'll see you next week once the call permits.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Hey, folks, that's how we take a wrap for this edition of To The Point for today. Thanks all who contributed towards today's program. Have yourself a good one, folks, and that's what we say goodbye for today.